The house is in complete disarray. I'm behind on work deadlines, and the kids, they're a disaster. I thought I could manage it all. I mean, I'm Sarah, right? The go getter, the boss. But now I'm just exhausted, completely and utterly drained. Hi, I'm Sarah. Let me tell you about the day my life took a turn. Picture this. I'm standing at the front of our office, every pair of eyes fixed on me. My boss has just announced my promotion, and I swear I can feel pride swelling in my chest. The sound of applause fills the room, and it feels like music to my ears. As I stood there soaking in the recognition, I couldn't help but think about the sacrifices that got me here. Late nights, missed weekends, family outings I chose to skip. It was all finally paying off. I deserved this. After years of relentless effort, I was finally getting the acknowledgement I'd worked so hard for. And then it hit me. I was now the breadwinner. Mike had lost his job a few weeks ago. Poor guy. But hey, life happens, right? I remember thinking, at least one of us is succeeding. Harsh? Maybe. But in that moment, I couldn't bring myself to feel guilty. It's just a couple of weeks ago, and I was thriving in my new role. The power, the respect. It was intoxicating. Being the one bringing home the money felt incredible. Every morning, I'd put on my power suit, grab my designer bag, and walk out of the house like I owned the world. Because, honestly, I felt like I did. Meanwhile, Mike was home with the kids, and I couldn't help but wonder if he was really pulling his weight. How hard could it be to take care of the kids and keep the house in order? While I was out there making important decisions and sealing big deals, he was at home changing diapers and dealing with tantrums. Seriously, I found Mike in the living room, looking frazzled with the baby on his lap. And you know what? I wasn't just annoyed. I was livid. Seriously, Mike, I snapped, gesturing at the mess. I shouldn't have to deal with this when I'm the one bringing in the real money. What have you even been doing all day? He tried to explain something about how hard it was with four kids, how the baby had been fussy, how the older ones had fought, and how he'd had to run errands. But I wasn't in the mood to hear it. I get it. You're trying, I interrupted, my voice sharp. But this isn't enough. I need a partner, not another child to take care of. If you can't handle this, maybe we need to rethink how this arrangement is working. As we argued, I could see the hurt in his eyes. A part of me knew I was being too harsh, but another part screamed that I was justified. I was the breadwinner now. I had the demanding job. If Mike couldn't keep up, that wasn't my problem. I went to bed that night with my mind racing. Everything between us was shifting. The balance of power had changed, and I could feel it in my hands. It was thrilling, addictive even. I'd always been ambitious, and now I was finally getting what I deserved. If Mike couldn't keep up, well, that was on him. Hey, I'm Mike. You know that moment when you think things are finally starting to look up, only for life to throw another curveball? That's been my reality lately. When Sarah got her big promotion, I was genuinely happy for her. She's my wife. Her success is our success, right? We even celebrated that night, popping open a bottle of champagne. I had no idea how much things were about to change. I'd recently started working again after being unemployed for a while. It wasn't the perfect job, but it was something. I was earning a paycheck, contributing to our family's finances. But suddenly, no matter what I did, it didn't feel like enough. Sarah's promotion flipped a switch. My income now seemed trivial in comparison to hers. The way she looked at me when she came home, it was like I was a disappointment, someone who wasn't meeting her new expectations. One day, I decided to make an effort to lighten the mood. I came home early, spent hours cleaning the house, got the kids to help me make dinner, and even set out candles. The kids were so excited, eager to surprise their mom. I thought this might bring us closer. I was wrong. Sarah walked in, looked around, and said, "Oh, so you managed to do what's expected for once." I felt deflated. The kids' faces fell, their excitement replaced with confusion. What's expected? Are you serious? I wanted to yell. Instead, I stood there as she criticized the meal we'd worked so hard to prepare. Must be nice to have such an easy job that you can come home early and play house, she said, her voice dripping with sarcasm. Some of us have real work to do. That's when I snapped. Real work, I shot back. You think what I do isn't real work? Taking care of our family doesn't matter just because you're earning more now? That's ridiculous. We argued, our voices escalating until the kids started crying. In that moment, all I could think about was how unfair it was. Sarah seemed to have forgotten everything. She forgot that I once had the high-powered job. She forgot that I never treated her the way she's treating me now. After the argument, I spent an hour reassuring the kids that everything was fine. But as the words left my mouth, I couldn't shake the feeling that they might not be true anymore. Lying in bed that night, Sarah sleeping with her back to me, I found myself wondering, where do we go from here? How can I make her see that what I do matters too? That being a parent and contributing to our household is valuable, even if I'm not earning as much as she is. And more importantly, how much longer can I keep this up before something breaks? This isn't the marriage I signed up for. This isn't the Sarah I married. The woman I fell in love with was caring, empathetic, a true partner. This version of Sarah feels like a stranger. And honestly, I'm not sure how much more of this I can take. Hey, it's Sarah again. You know how they say, success changes people? Well, let me tell you, it's true. These past few weeks have been a whirlwind. Work has been nonstop. Late nights, early mornings, back-to-back meetings. But honestly, I'm thriving. Every challenge, every hurdle, I've crushed them all. I feel unstoppable, like nothing can get in my way. But then I come home, and it's like stepping into another universe, one where my accomplishments don't seem to matter, where I'm expected to fall back into my old role, like nothing's changed. Newsflash, everything has changed. Mike's back at work now, and you'd think that would make things easier. But no, it's actually made everything harder. Sure, he's working again, but let's be real, he's not exactly raking in the big bucks like I am. And yet, he acts like his job is just as important as mine. Can you believe it? The other day, I got home late again. I had to stay for a big presentation and then schmooze with the client afterward. When I finally walked in, the house was a disaster. There were dishes piled in the sink, toys everywhere. And Mike? He was lounging on the couch, watching TV. Rough day? He asked, like he had any idea what a rough day really is. That was it. I lost it. Are you kidding me? I snapped. I'm out there killing myself to provide for this family, and you can't even keep the house clean? The second the words left my mouth, I knew I'd crossed a line. But you know what? A part of me meant it. I'm the one earning the real money now. Is it so wrong to expect some help at home? Mike didn't take it quietly. This time, he jumped up from the couch, his eyes blazing. Are you serious right now, Sarah? I've been working all day too, in case you forgot. I'm not your maid, and I'm sure as hell not getting paid to clean up after you. We're supposed to be partners, remember? His words hit me hard, like a slap I wasn't expecting. For a moment, I saw the hurt behind his anger, and it made me feel small. But that moment passed, and my frustration flared again. Partners? I shot back, because from where I'm standing, I'm the one holding this family together. Your job? It's nothing compared to mine. When are you going to step up and actually contribute? Mike's expression hardened. You know what, Sarah? I'm done with this conversation. When you're ready to talk like an adult instead of throwing a tantrum, let me know. Until then, clean up your own damn mess. He stormed out of the room, leaving me standing there, furious. How dare he talk to me like that? Doesn't he understand the pressure I'm under? As the days pass, I find myself resenting him more and more. Every unwashed dish, every pile of unfolded laundry, it feels like a personal attack, like he's trying to hold me back. The other night, everything came to a head. I'd had a brutal week at work, a massive project with intense deadlines. I was exhausted, stressed, and completely at my wit's end. I walked in, and guess what? The laundry wasn't done. Again. I confronted Mike, and it escalated into a full-blown shouting match. We said things, ugly things. I called him lazy, said he wasn't pulling his weight. He fired back, saying I'd changed, that I didn't care about our family anymore. And then, in the heat of the moment, I said something I never thought I would. Maybe we should separate. Oh, the look on his face, it's burned into my memory. Hurt, shock, anger. All mixed together. That night, lying in bed, unable to sleep, I couldn't help but wonder, is this what success looks like? Is this the price I have to pay? A part of me wants to fix things, to go back to how we used to be, but another part whispers that I deserve better, that I shouldn't have to compromise my success for anyone. I don't know what's going to happen next, but one thing is clear. Things can't continue like this. Something has to give. And honestly, I'm not sure I care anymore If that something is my marriage. Hey, it's Mike again. Remember how I said things were rough? Well, buckle up because they're about to get worse. Every day is the same. I rush home from work, relieve the babysitter, start dinner, help with homework. By the time Sarah gets home, I'm completely spent. Does she notice? Nope. All she sees is what I didn't do. Isn't the laundry folded? Couldn't you have vacuumed? It's like nothing I do is ever enough anymore. And the worst part, uh, the constant comparisons. Well, I managed to do all this when I was the one at home. Yeah, well, you didn't have a full-time job then, did you? I've tried to talk to her to make her understand, but it's like talking to a brick wall. All she cares about is her career, her achievements, our family, our relationship. It it feels like it's all second to her job now. And then the other night, everything spiraled out of control. I was exhausted. After a grueling day at work, I managed to get dinner on the table. But the laundry? That didn't happen. Sarah came home, took one look around, and lost it, yelling about how I'm lazy, how I don't pull my weight. Me? Lazy? I wanted to laugh, or maybe cry, or both. I tried to defend myself, explaining that she had no idea what I deal with daily. But she wasn't having it. She launched into a tirade about how I couldn't possibly understand her stress, her responsibilities, like what I do doesn't matter at all. We were both shouting by then. The kids were upstairs, probably terrified, but in that moment, all I could feel was how unfair it was, how little Sarah seemed to value or respect me. And then, just when I thought it couldn't get worse, I saw it. Sarah's phone was lying on the counter, and a message popped up from someone named Alex. It wasn't about work. My heart sank. With trembling hands, I picked up the phone. More messages, pictures, explicit ones. It felt like the ground had dropped out from under me. What the hell is this? I demanded, shoving the phone in her face. Sarah's face went pale. She tried to grab the phone, stammering excuses, but it was too late. I'd seen enough. The argument that followed was explosive. All the resentment, anger, and frustration from the past months erupted at once. Sarah tried to turn it around, blaming me, saying I'd pushed her to this, that I wasn't meeting her needs. Can you believe that? In that moment, something inside me snapped. I want a divorce, I heard myself say. The words hung in the air, heavy and final. Suddenly, Sarah's demeanor shifted. She was apologetic, pleading for counseling, saying we could work it out. But I was done. Done with the disrespect, done feeling invisible, and now done with the betrayal. This was the last straw. It's going to be tough. Damn near impossible even. But for the first time in months, I feel like I can breathe again. Like maybe, just maybe, there's hope for a brighter future, even if Sarah isn't part of it. Hey, it's Sarah. Where do I even start? Remember when I thought I had everything? The high-powered job, the admiration, the success? Well, let me tell you, the view from rock bottom is very different. The divorce happened so quickly. One moment I was on top of the world, the next I was signing papers, dividing assets, and trying to explain to the kids why mom and dad don't live together anymore. Talk about a reality check. Now here I am, trying to balance a demanding career and raising 4 kids alone. And let me tell you, it's a disaster. The nanny quit last week, couldn't handle the hours. The house is a wreck. I'm behind at work, and the kids, they're falling apart. Just like everything else. I thought I could manage it all. I mean, I'm Sarah, right? The boss, the go-getter. But now I'm just so damn tired. The other day, my boss called me into his office. Apparently, my performance has been slipping. They're concerned. I wanted to scream. To tell him about the sleepless nights, the tantrums, the crushing loneliness. Instead, I nodded and promised to do better. But the hardest part? The way my kids look at me. They're not just sad, they're angry. Especially my oldest. Last night, she confronted me. She found old messages on my laptop, remnants of the affair. God, I thought I'd deleted those. I tried to explain, to apologize, but what could I say? She was right. I did ruin everything. My perfect life, my family. I threw it all away. For what? A promotion? A fling? It all seems so meaningless now. That night, after the kids were in bed, I broke down and called Mike. I was sobbing, begging for another chance. I told him I'd quit my job, go to therapy, anything to fix this. But Mike wasn't having it. His voice was cold, final. It's too late, Sarah, he said. I've moved on. You made your choice. Now live with it. The sound of the phone clicking as he hung up felt like a door slamming shut on my old life. So here I am, alone in this big empty house, surrounded by reminders of everything I've lost. The family photos on the wall, the kids' toys scattered everywhere. It all feels like a cruel joke. I've started therapy, trying to understand how things spiraled so far out of control, how I became this person I barely recognize. It's not easy facing the truth, realizing you're the villain in your own story. The irony isn't lost on me. All those times I accused Mike of not contributing, of not pulling his weight, and now I'm drowning, barely keeping my head above water as I try to handle it all on my own. I miss him. God, I miss him. So much it hurts. I miss his laugh, his corny dad jokes, the way he could calm the kids. When I was at my wit's end, I took it all for granted, and now it's gone. Some days, I think about quitting my job, about trying to rebuild what I've destroyed. But I know it's too late. Mike's moved on. The kids are adjusting to their new normal, and I'm left picking up the pieces of the life I shattered. So here's my advice from someone who's learned it the hard way. Cherish what you have, the quiet evenings at home, the little moments, the simple joys of family life. Because take it from me, no promotion, no paycheck, No career milestone is worth losing the people who matter most.